Hello guys and welcome to the first episode of Beyond Tech Stuff. Today I'm here with
Hey, please.
and today we're just going to be talking about the differences between the Nintendo Switch OLED model, which is going to be coming out on October 8th, and the Nintendo Switch, the previous Nintendo Switch model, and the Nintendo Switch Lite. Let's get into that. What's the difference? We're going to talk about the differences on this episode. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the Nintendo Switch OLED model, which it's not really featured, but let's get into the features. The first feature, which is, like I said, it's not a feature, but it's the MSRP of $349.99. What do you think about that?
So I personally think it's actually very good. I would definitely pay $50 more than the regular Switch, which is $300. Because with the features that this one has, it basically fixes that I hate about the regular Switch that I currently have.
Yeah. And they another feature is that they switched from LCD to OLED, and they also made the screen bigger. So on the previous Switch, it was a 6.2-inch LCD display, but now it's a 7-inch OLED display. What do you think about this change?
I think it's a very good change. The differences between LCD are like night and day, honestly. So you get true blacks on OLED, whiter whites, just a better, more vibrant colors and everything. Just looks way more crispy than LCD.
I don't want to move on to the next feature yet, but since it's going to be on that same topic, what do you think about the current Switch stand/dock?
The current Switch stand/dock. So the dock is not that good. It's super not that good, honestly, plastically. The back part is honestly pretty bad. It already broke my back part. It's just bad, honestly. Also, the adjustable stand, or the regular stand, I hate that shit. That thing is actually trash, dude. So it's like super thin. It's like, mine really got lost. I don't even know when the hell it got lost, but it came off. It's just super
it's flimsy, right?
Flimsy, yeah, I was about to say that. So yeah, it's flimsy. It's just super trash. It's it doesn't even stand perfectly nicely. It's just
Yes. And to go on with that topic, what do you think about the new wide and adjustable stand/dock on the new Nintendo Switch OLED model?
So I'm super excited for the new stand, bro, because that's a feature I've been hating on my current Switch. So the new one has it's adjustable. It's bigger, more sturdier, less flimsy. It's not gonna break off like the current one, and has different modes, which is actually insane. It's gonna be a big upgrade from the current Switch that I have right now.
And what I will say is, it's gonna be more wide, so it's not gonna be a thin dock or stand that you're just gonna put in your Nintendo Switch and there's limited space on that dock or stand. It's gonna be a wide dock and very adjustable. And to keep on talking about the stand/dock, they're gonna have a built-in wired LAN port, which is gonna help with connection to games. And now that Switch users are getting this, it's gonna be, you are gonna get more ping. So you're gonna try to go hand in hand in different games that are multi-platform, like Xbox, PlayStation, PC, on Fortnite or something like that, or any game that a gamer might play that is cross-platform and you can play games. What do you think about the new built-in wired LAN port?
So, built-in wired LAN port is going to be a big game changer for serious gamers that like to play Fortnite. Games that you need good internet on, because you can have better, lower ping, better internet, and just everything's gonna be better during gameplay using the LAN port.
Okay, so here's another feature. On the previous Switch, we had a 32GB internal storage. What do you think about the new Switch OLED model and what Nintendo is doing to double the internal storage? What do you think about the 64GB internal storage on the new Switch OLED model?
So I have 32GB on my regular Switch at the moment, which is all you can have. But I haven't really had an issue with the storage, because I don't really have that much games on it. But 64GB will allow me to want to have more games, experience different games on Nintendo, and just better have more storage overall.
Yeah. And like you were saying, you do only have 32GB, but you don't have that much games downloaded. People that do use the Switch on a day-to-day basis, and that's their only main source of playing, 32GB, I don't think, for them at least, is going to be a lot of storage. And now the 64GB is going to be way more, and then they can download way more games, and like you said, they're going to get into different games, and it's more like you're going to put yourself out there in the world. So that is what they're doing with the 64GB of internal storage. Is insane.
Doubling up their storage.
Yeah.
Nice upgrade.
Yes, and that's only internal storage. So if you want, at some point, you can get an external storage and have more gigabytes on your Nintendo Switch, which is going to be just way more insane.
Yeah.
The next feature and last feature that the Nintendo Switch OLED model is going to bring is enhanced audio. What do you think about this new enhanced audio versus the previous generation Nintendo Switch?
So the previous generation Nintendo Switch didn't have that bad audio. I didn't really mind it that much, but now that they're enhancing it, it's definitely gonna sound way better and maybe more immersed into your gameplay, and playing the new like Zelda or something like that, or any good game on handheld Switch. The audio on the handheld Switch is going to be insane on the new one.
Yeah. So now let's get into the previous generation Nintendo Switch. Let's start off. The MSRP is at a solid $299.99 USD. What do you think about that price?
It's not a bad price, honestly. It's just the regular current Switch. That's how much it usually is. It's not really that bad. It's just $200.
Yeah, but to move on from that topic, what do you think about this previous generation 6.2-inch LCD display?
It's definitely not gonna be as good as the OLED model for sure. But I mean, it's not that bad. Like, you can definitely deal with it. It's not a bad Switch, but basically, it's not bad.
Yeah, but you're gonna tell the difference when the new Switch is gonna have a 7-inch, which is 0.8 inches bigger, and it's gonna go from LCD to OLED. So there's obviously gonna be a difference, and that's obviously something that maybe serious users of the Nintendo Switch might look into and might see as a feature that's very good for them.
Yeah.
So now let's move on to the non-adjustable stand/dock. What do you think about that?
So like I said, the adjustable stand is, or just the regular stand, it's not adjustable on this one. It's super trash. I would definitely suggest waiting. If you're gonna get a Switch, a regular Switch, I would honestly suggest to wait for the new Switch, the OLED model. Or if you have a regular Switch, you might consider getting the OLED Switch if it comes out, or when it comes out. You might get it, but I'm just saying the stand is just super bad on the regular Switch.
Yeah, and as a Nintendo Switch user yourself, and I've seen a Nintendo Switch dock/stand in person, I just don't believe it's very good. It's super thin, and the stand that it did have is very flimsy, and it's easy to break off, and it's like a very cheap plastic. Do you think Nintendo Switch are going to upgrade the material being used for the stand?
I think so. It's probably going to be a little bit thicker, hopefully. And if it is, that's going to be amazing, because it's not going to be breaking, it's not going to be flimsy anymore. The fact that it has different adjustable settings, I think it's going to be less flimsy, for sure.
Yeah. And now let's move on. It has no built-in LAN port. Obviously, for true gamers or gamers that play games that you need high ping like Fortnite, what do you think about it having no built-in LAN port?
I don't really use the LAN port that much, or actually at all. I don't even use a LAN port. But I mean, it's something people can deal with. It's not the worst thing, but of course, if you want less ping and you want to have better gameplay, of course, the LAN port is a feature you might be wanting.
Yeah, and like I was saying on the Switch OLED model, it has a 64GB internal storage. What do you think about the old Nintendo Switch model having only 32GB of internal storage?
So, I mean, I don't really have that much games personally, so I think 32 for me is good, but people who use the Switch every day on a daily basis and have a lot of games, I think 32GB isn't as good as 64 on the OLED model.
Yeah, and for a $299.99 MSRP, I don't think it should be that much. I think it should be lowered now that the new OLED model is coming out, because almost $300 for worse features is, I think, just pretty bad. Because $50 more and you get a 7-inch display that's OLED, more adjustable and wide dock, a built-in LAN port, 64GB, enhanced audio, and just $50 more for that, I would just wait and buy the OLED model.
Yeah, that's true.
So now let's move on to the Nintendo Switch Lite. Obviously something that's not showed here and that I do want to come across, it's not really a multiplayer console or a multiplayer device, because obviously with the Nintendo Switch you can take off the Joy-Cons, which you can't do on this Lite model, and you can play Mario Kart 2 players, but that would not be able to happen on the Nintendo Switch Lite.
Yeah, that's true.
Now we're going to go into the MSRP of $199.99. What do you think about that price?
So, honestly, I wouldn't really buy the Switch Lite myself, because I already have a regular Switch. I don't really like the regular I mean, the Switch Lite that much personally because I mean you can't really do much. You can't even use the dock or anything. You can't use the TV, which is a pretty big downgrade because I like using the TV on Switch sometimes. And it's just crazy that you can. It's only just limited to handheld. Like, you can't use any dock or anything like that.
Exactly. And to move on, it's a 5.5 inch LCD display or screen. It went down 0.7 inches. What do you think about that difference, and do you think it's major?
I don't think it's major, honestly, because if you're buying it, of course, that means you want it. But, I mean, I personally suggest the regular Switch or just waiting for the Switch OLED model.
And obviously, it doesn't even have a dock because you can't even plug it into a TV or monitor. So it doesn't have a dock, so that's also a thing. You can only play handheld mode, which, for me, personally, I don't think that's very smart.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like how it's $200 and it's very limited, because you're paying $200, but, I mean, it's just limited to only handheld. I would much rather pay $100 more for the regular Switch and have more features. You have the Joy-Cons that can come off. You can play handheld mode on the go, or you can play on your TV or a monitor, whatever you play on.
Yeah, and to add on to that, you're paying $200 because you want to get into a device, and you might not have the $300 to buy the Nintendo Switch, the old Nintendo Switch model. So, for what they did, it's like they're declining. What they did from the Nintendo Switch to the Nintendo Switch OLED model is a very big switch for only $50. And now, this is a major switch, which is downgrading for $100 less. I personally, if you don't have the money for a Nintendo Switch, I would just recommend saving up. I don't think the Nintendo Switch Lite model is the way to go.
I don't think so either, honestly.
And now let's come across. Obviously, it has no built-in LAN port because it's a only handheld. What do you think about it being a handheld and not having a built-in LAN port?
Of course, not gonna have built-in LAN port because it's handheld. There's not even any dock for it to have LAN port. It's just crazy how you can't use a dock. I feel like it would be better if it can at least be capable of using a dock. But I just don't think it's worth getting the Switch Lite. If you only have $200, I know it sounds good because it's only $200. I would definitely consider just saving up extra $100 and get the regular Switch model. Like you're getting more for your money, and you can do a lot more things with the regular Switch.
And if you have the Nintendo Switch Lite, don't think we're trying to degrade you or roast you or anything you might think. We're just trying to go over the features and what we think is suitable for a already Nintendo Switch user or an up-and-coming Nintendo Switch user.
Yeah.
What do you think about the 32GB internal storage? It's obviously the same thing as the Nintendo Switch.
So like I said, I personally don't have that much games on my regular Switch, so I personally think it's good. Of course, it would be better to have 64GB on the OLED model, so I'd definitely just wait for the OLED model if you're gonna get a Switch.
Yeah, and that's gonna be it for all the features across all the Switches. My personal verdict for new up-and-coming users, I do recommend getting the new OLED model, which is going to be coming out on October 8th. And I do recommend just spending that extra money just to get something more premium and more luxury, basically, and have more things, you know?
More features.
Yeah, more features. What is your final verdict on what up-and-coming or already Switch users should get?
So what I'm gonna say finally is if you're going to get a Switch right now, don't get the Switch right now, the regular Switch. Of course, wait for the OLED model because you're getting much more for only $50 more than. So of course, if you have $300, of course you can spend both the extra mile, get $50 more. By the time it comes out, you can definitely get the OLED model. I personally think that's good. Now, if you already have a Switch and you want the OLED model, it's like in the middle. You don't have to upgrade because of course it's almost the same thing. But if you like the OLED model, then go ahead. Go do it.
Yeah, if, like you were saying, if you already have a Switch, it's kind of in the middle. If you want the extra features that the Nintendo Switch OLED model is going to have, yeah, we do recommend switching. If you don't want that right now and you just want to stay with your Nintendo Switch, we understand that and you should stay with your Switch. Now, if you have a Nintendo Switch Lite, what do you think Nintendo Switch Lite users should do? Should they upgrade or should they stay with their Lite?
So, if they have the Lite, they probably like the feature of having only handheld. But personally, you should honestly go for either a Switch or a Switch OLED model just to try out the feature of using on TV. It's definitely way better than regular handheld. I usually don't really play handheld that much because I just don't know about that. It's just not the best in my opinion. So I mean, if you only play handheld, of course, if you're on the Switch Lite, try to look into buying maybe the OLED model. Save up for the OLED model for sure. But
Yeah, or if you just want to try it out, most places like Target, Best Buy, they do have a 7 to 30 day return policy, so you can return it within that time. So if you don't like it, obviously, you can return it.
Yeah.
So, that's going to be all for this. Thanks for watching the first episode of Beyond Tech Stuff. Have a good day.